I mean, first of all, it's important to understand that in the global financial markets today, there is a major liquidity crunch, right? And it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. So there's a big need to go and tap into liquidities in places where we were not looking before, right? And when you have a liquidity crunch, what it means is that Africa is the last in line when it comes to fundraising, right? And this has to change. Now, if you look at the GDP of the African continent in 2021, you're talking about $2.6 trillion. But if you look at the underground resources estimation in terms of value, you're talking about $100 trillion.
Massive.
That's massive. And it's actually bigger than the global GDP, which is $87.5 trillion. Today, we have two major technologies that allow it, right? If you just look at the underground resources, you have blockchain technology, and we mentioned earlier the fact that you can tokenize real assets, right? And you have also now satellites and drones that can do electromagnetic resonance and have an estimate of what's in underground at a 4-meter difference. So you can effectively tokenize your resources underground, right? And call upon the local population, the regional population, and the international community to invest, versus going to the same lenders, etc., who are facing a huge bottleneck and liquidity crunch. So with that, Africa could effectively get its local population to buy a piece, a fractionalized piece, on the, let's say, the lithium reserve that is sitting on the ground, right? So that it can fund the government who's actually issuing those tokens, and then the governments can now have enough capital to fund the infrastructure projects, right? When you talk also about the private sector, real estate, there is significant amount of real estate that do not find buyers. Why? Because the market is very small. But if you tokenize that real estate and you give opportunity for people to effectively buy a piece from their phone, etc., and then when there's a sale, then they make their upside. What does it mean? It means that when you think of the fact that 50 to 60% of Africa economy is informal, right? You're talking about roughly $4 trillion that is not accounted for and that it's sleeping under mattresses.
And we are always talking about financial inclusion.
We talk about financial inclusion. Yes. So that could be a great way. When you issue tokenized real estate, tokenized cattle, tokenized gold, tokenized underground resources, to call upon the local population to effectively participate, but also the people in the region and the international community. It democratizes access to investment and multiply for African entrepreneurs and governments the possibilities of mobilizing capital from all over the world, right, at the comfort of mobile phones. And suddenly you have an asset that you can put to the market versus going and beg for loans, etc. So that's where it's a game changer. Africa pioneered mobile money.
Right.
We can leverage on tokenized asset to become a global pioneer and a global leader in that space, to quickly work on natural resources, work on other assets, tokenize them, bring more liquidity, call upon local savings, and to effectively participate in those economies, and more importantly, have the choice and immediate benefit from the resources we're sitting on.
Exactly, and this is a massive transition as well.
It's a massive transition. We're talking about a $100 trillion economy that is right there for us to tap into if we are brave enough to embrace technology, and also to tap into what made us famous in the first place, was the rapid adoption of mobile and mobile money down the road. And now you blend all those technologies together and you start having the greatest potential market in the world.
Wow.